Well, good morning, students of Standard 9th. This is welcome back to your second video for this week, and we will be discussing The Beggar, written by the great Anton Chekhov. You already must have gone through the animated video that I posted, which had the summary of the story. Now we need to go through a detailed paragraph-wise explanation. So before we begin, we can't ignore a little details about the great Anton Chekhov. Anton Pavlovich Chekhov, who was born in 1860 and died in 1904, which makes he died at the age of 44. He was a Russian playwright and a short story writer who is considered to be among the greatest writers of short story fiction in history. His career as a playwright produced 4 classics, and his best short stories are held in high esteem by writers and critics. Along with Henrik Ibsen and August Strindberg, Chekhov is often referred to as one of the 3 seminal figures in the birth of early modernism in the theatre. Chekhov practiced as a medical doctor throughout most of his literary career. His famous quote, "Medicine is my lawful wife," he once said, "and literature is my mistress." You see how lively that person was and how good people die so early. You must have read most of his stories throughout Standard 6. One story or either is there of Anton Chekhov, and you will be reading a play also of Anton Chekhov in your Standard 10th. Here you can have a look at Anton Chekhov, and let's now move on to the paragraph-wise explanation. A man was begging alms. He said that he had not eaten anything for last 3 days. He did not even have 5 kopecks to pay for a room to spend the night at. He swore by God that he spoke the truth. He had been a school teacher in a village for 8 years, but lost his job due to conspiracy of his colleagues. For the last 1 year, he was without work. Simple to understand. We move on to the second paragraph, explanation of the second paragraph. An advocate named Sergei looked at the light brown colored coat of the beggar. The beggar had dull, drunken eyes. There were red spots on both his cheeks. Sergei felt that he had seen the man before. The beggar continued that he had got an offer of a job in the state of Kaluga in Russia. He did not have enough money to travel to the place. He wanted help, though he felt ashamed asking for it, but his circumstances forced him to do so. Sergei saw the man's shoes. Both of them had varying heel sizes. He remembered something. Now, before that, a quick recap. A man was begging, giving reasons for his begging, that he lost his job due to conspiracy of his co-workers. He didn't have any money. He didn't eat for last 3 days. Sergei seemed to find the face of the beggar familiar. The beggar continued that he had got a job at the province of Kaluga and he didn't have enough money to go there. He felt ashamed of begging, but his circumstances were forcing him to. But Sergei was still stuck on the man. He felt that he had seen the man before. So this time he noticed the shoes of the man. They had varying heel sizes and he remembered something. So let's move on. He said that the day before the previous day, he had seen the same beggar at Sadovia Street. Then the beggar had said that he was a student who had been removed from the institution and not that he was a school teacher. He asked the beggar if he remembered it. Sergei now remembered where he had seen it and what he had said. Now he asked the beggar, was he right or wrong? The beggar was shocked and spoke softly that was not possible. He remembered that he was a school teacher and could show he asserted that he was a school teacher and could show his documents as proof. Sergei said that he had lied enough. He added that the beggar had told him that he was a student and had even told the reason for getting expelled from his institution. Sergei was full of anger and turned away from the beggar. He screamed that the beggar was dishonest. He was cheap and Sergei would hand him over to, he was a cheat, and Sergei would hand him over to the police. The beggar confessed that he was lying. He was neither a teacher nor a student. He had been a singer in a Russian group and was removed due to his drinking problem. He lied because people would not give him alms if he told them the truth that he needed money to drink. Sergei screamed at him and said that he could work instead of lying. The beggar said that he knew he should work, but there was no work for him. Sergei asked if he chopped wood for him. So now, what did the beggar actually do? In his past, he was a singer at a choir. Why was he removed? Because of his drunkenness. And if he told the truth that he lost his job due to drunkenness and I am a drunkard, who would give him money? So Sergei said, then don't ask for money, work. The beggar said, nobody gives me work either. Sergei said, would you chop wood for me? The beggar said that he wanted to chop wood, but he said that even skilled woodcutters were out of work, so who would employ him for it? Sergei offered him work. Beggar replied that he would chop wood for him. Sergei said that his willingness to work would be judged soon. He walked off, rubbing his hand, and called the cook from his kitchen. As he asked Olga to take the man to the woodshed and let him chop wood. The beggar resembled a scarecrow. His reluctance to go to the shed was signified by his act of shrugging his shoulders. He followed the cook hesitantly. He was hesitant because he was hungry, and although he wanted to work, he did not feel energetic enough to do it. As he had promised Sergei, he had to go to work. He did not feel strong enough because he was under the influence of alcohol and was not fit to do laborious work. See all the reasons why he was reluctant. He was a drunkard for a long time, so he had become weak, and maybe he was sick also. So he didn't have enough energy, but he was caught in his own words. So he was caught lying. So in order to say that I was not lying, it was due to circumstances. He agreed to chop wood, but he had some pride and shame left. So he was caught in his own words and he had to go. Now Sergei went to the dining room to look outside the window. He could see the woodshed and the yard. He saw the cook and the beggar in the yard. They walked to the shed. The cook, Olga, stared at the beggar angrily, pushed him with her elbow, and shut the door. No. What could Sergei see? That Olga, his cook Olga, was not at all impressed with the beggar. She didn't like him. And how can you say so? Because she elbowed him before shutting the door. Right? He saw the beggar who had lied that he had been a teacher sitting on a log of wood. He sat with his cheek resting on his fist. Olga threw the axe towards him and scolded him. The burglar pulled the piece of wood towards him, placed it between his feet, and hit it weakly with the axe. The wood shook and fell. He pulled it up again, tried to warm up his hands by blowing into them, and again tapped the wood with the axe. He was careful not to hit his shoes or cut his finger. The wood fell once again. So what was the effort made by the beggar? We all know he was weak enough he was not fit enough to chop wood, and despite his attempts, he could not chop a single log. And besides, he was scared that he might not end up chopping his toes or fingers. And the more he hit the wood with his axe, the more it fell. So Sergei was not angry at the beggar any longer. He felt sorry and ashamed of himself to put the poor man at hard work in such cold weather, despite the fact that he was not fit enough to do it. After an hour, Olga went to Sergei and told him that all the pieces of wood had been chopped. Sergei was glad that the beggar had done the work. He asked Olga to pay him half a ruble. He added that she could tell him to come on the first day of every month to cut wood. They could give him some work. The beggar turned up on the first day of the month and got half a ruble, although he was heavily drunk. and could not even stand on his feet. He went there for work often. He would do various jobs like shoveling the snow, set the wood in shed, beat the rugs to remove the dust, and earned 20 to 40 kopecks for it. Once Sergei gave him a pair of trousers too. Sergei shifted to another house and he hired the beggar to help him in moving the articles like furniture. Now the man was not under the influence of alcohol. He was sad and remained quiet. He hardly took part in moving the furniture. He simply walked behind the vans, with his head hanging low, and did not even pretend to be busy. He shivered due to cold weather and seemed embarrassed when other workers made fun of him for being idle, weak, and laughed at his torn overcoat. When the work was completed, Sergei called the beggar. So let's keep it up to here for this video. I will be coming up with the third and final video very soon. So stay tuned, stay home, stay safe. Good luck, goodbye.